This is 10 News with Sandra Sully and Bill Woods.
Strike action by angry firefighters today could so nearly have ended in tragedy, with a grandmother and her infant grandson caught in a burning house with no crews available to help.
Fireys walked off the job this afternoon for the first time in nearly 60 years in a protest over tough changes to workers' compensation laws.
Eddie Meyer is at the scene and Josh Murphy is at the City Fire Station. We'll get to the reason for this bitter dispute in a moment, but first, let's go to Eddie. Eddie, what on earth happened there?
Well, what happened here is what happens every day in Sydney. A house fire. A man and his son were driving past. They saw the house behind me alight. They saw flames coming out of the roof. They immediately called 000. Now, in normal circumstances, you would expect fire response within a few minutes, 10 minutes at the most. That didn't happen. So the father's son raced into the house to alert the grandmother and her grandson at the rear of the house. This is what he said, and this is also the response from the father, who was quite disappointed in how long it took for firefighters to eventually arrive.
I could smell, as soon as I walked into the house, I could smell it even downstairs. It reeked of just burnt wood, and yeah, I could just tell that it was on fire.
And everyone was quite angry because when the first fire truck arrived, the police officer that was there on the scene, he said to the fireys, "Why are you guys taking so long?" And he said, "We're on a ban at the moment, we haven't been able to come," which was really disappointing. You know, you'd expect better of them. I know they've got problems at the moment, but you'd expect better of them than that they'd have something in place.
Now, eventually, fire crews did arrive, Rural Fire Service and a specialist crew from the airport, normally there for fighting fires at the airport with aircraft. They arrived. Of course, the man who owns this house, he was quite pleased, of course, that his wife and grandson were okay, but very angry that it took up to 25, 30 minutes for anyone to get here and put the fire out.
Unlucky that my wife and my grandson, they were out at that time. They didn't get caught on the fire. But it could be a lot better than what we are now if this fire brigade came a bit earlier.
Now, of course, the Rural Fire Service has defended its response time. There will be a debate how long it took. We're also hearing that it could have taken as long as 45 minutes, but the Rural Fire Service is saying they were here within 17. Either way, no one was here in that critical time to save the house, and that will be something that is investigated and debated long after this event.
Eddie Meyer, thank you. Let's go to state political reporter Josh Murphy now. Josh, our fireys, of course, are there to save lives and property. This is a rare dispute. How have they been pushed to this point?
Well, Bill, these controversial laws which cut benefits to injured workers exclude the likes of police and Rural Fire Service volunteers, but they include firefighters, and they're furious that they're not being guaranteed the same level of protection. That's led to this unprecedented strike action. It's also left the O'Farrell government highly embarrassed and today scrambling to find a resolution.
For the first time in 2 generations, firefighters deserted their posts, a convoy descending on Macquarie Street.
Same job, same rights.
The anger directed at the Premier for slashing their injury benefits. That message delivered in a surprise soaking of State Parliament. The building was drenched.
Is that flooding in there, Barry?
Police have their own death and injury scheme, and Rural Fire Service volunteers are exempt from the work cover cutbacks. Firefighters want the same.
And this government are treating us abominably.
The vote on the strike was overwhelming. More than 6,000 of those on the front line leaving stations and ultimately fires unattended. From 1 o'clock, no coverage. It's in effect until 6 p.m, throwing the O'Farrell government into chaos.
But the matters that the fire brigade have raised, we're not deaf to.
But in the chamber where the injury benefits are being negotiated came this rebuke.
To find that the community has been put at risk, is completely and totally unacceptable.
The opposition offered to suspend question time so the Premier could meet with firefighters.
The Fire Brigade Employees Union lost their opportunity to meet with me when they took a decision this morning to go on strike.
Publicly defiant, but still a Premier under siege. These scenes, what you might call his very own convoy of no confidence.
Now, we can reveal, despite that mass protest, that firefighters will still be included in these work cover changes because it has the support of key independent Fred Nile in the upper house. And we can also reveal that some of the protesters today may face charges over that drenching that State Parliament copped in the protest earlier this afternoon. Bill and Sandra.
Josh Murphy, thank you.